To get to the next level, you literally have to accept that it's a lot easier to make larger sums of money in a shorter amount of time than it is to make smaller amounts of money in a longer amount of time. Hey girl, welcome back. We're going to talk about how to actually get a return on your investment when investing in your business. The crux of this, how to get a return when investing in your business, or why maybe you haven't gotten a return when investing in your business in the past, is because most people struggle because they are searching the internet looking to gorge themselves on information and not transformation. And this is super important because it might, shock you to hear this, but more information doesn't necessarily translate to more income. You can work with a coach, you can sign up for a course, get the real information and still not create that real transformation. And the reason for that is because we as the consumers, or you as someone who's looking to invest in your business, do not realize that you do not follow the process as much as you follow your own programming. What you talking about, Courtney? What you mean programming? Well, hopefully you were on my live stream the other day where I talked about how your prices are a product of your programming. Oh, that's a whole nother word. It's kind of like trying to load a website that hasn't been optimized for mobile on your phone, right? Maybe you look at a big website, it's not mobile optimized, you get in on your phone and you're scrolling. And the crazy thing is when you went to Google or whatever, went into the search bar and pulled up the website, the full website was there. All the information on that website was there. But because your screen was smaller than the design of the website and the website wasn't formatted for your phone, suddenly you're missing things. Things aren't in your view. It's no different when you go looking for information from courses, from coaches. Oftentimes, we get in trouble because we are receiving information and without realizing it, we are modifying that information to fit our view instead of learning how to expand our screen. A lot of us don't even realize that this process is happening. It literally happens behind the scenes. Your brain is automatically cutting stuff out and re-engineering things and reformatting it and pressing it down to fit within the view that you already have. And I know this was the case for me even recently, right? So I talked about how I've invested over 100K in the last 12 months. I've already made my money back. I've seen great returns. I was moving to the next level, right? We were working on creating some new offers, again, taking my own business to the next level, doing some things that are very common at the 7 and 8 figure level. But for me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is new. I'm just transitioning into that level. Like, are you sure? Should I really do it? I literally was taking the information and I was like re-engineering it according to the mindset that I had for how I was running my business previously. But it was crazy because I hired this coach to learn how to get to the next level. And the thing that I could not accept because my programming, until I recognized it, didn't allow me to see it, was that at that level, people actually do less. Here's something that's really gonna jack you up, right? It's a lot easier to make a lot of money than it is to make a little bit of money. I heard it intellectually, but I could not register it because my programming up until that point was you have to work really hard in order to make a lot of money. Both of my coaches were saying the same thing of no, you have to let go of that belief. You have to let go of that programming. That might have been true to get you from where you were to where you are now. But to get to the next level, you literally have to accept that it's a lot easier to make larger sums of money in a shorter amount of time than it is to make smaller amounts of money in a longer amount of time. It's true, and it's true because think about your own experience, maybe working corporate America or working a 9-to-5 job, right? Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but most of us don't realize if you're making 6 figures in your corporate job, maybe you're making $100,000 or maybe even over $100,000, within 10 years, technically you will have seen $1 million come through your fingertips, right? But how did you go about earning that $1 million? Well, I don't have the math, maybe I should pull it up on my phone, but working, let's just say on average 50 hours a week, for 50 weeks a year, for 10 years, that's a lot of work, right? Or you can learn to make $1 million in 1 year. That's a lot less time and it's a lot less work. How do you change your programming? How do you even recognize your programming? Programming is something that we inhale all the time without even thinking. Really, it's a lot like air. And so since it's like air, I have an acronym for you. You know a certain belief is programmed for you when A, you've received that information from somebody with authority, right? So maybe your parents always taught you money doesn't grow on trees. I know my parents, before I became an entrepreneur, the programming was, oh yeah, Courtney, you can start a business and you can become an entrepreneur, but you need to work at a corporation for 20 or 30 years to get experience. And then once you've gotten that experience, then you can maybe like start your own consulting business on the side. So our parents are people with authority. That's the thing that's taught to you. So A, authority. But then there's I, which is intensity. So you also want to think about the beliefs or ideas that have been passed down to you with emotion, right? Usually your parents aren't saying that like, now, Kayla, you know money doesn't grow on trees. They're saying it with some intensity, right? Like, stop asking me for this stuff at the grocery store. Stop asking for whatever. Don't you know money doesn't grow on trees? Anytime that you've received a belief or somebody has taught you something with a sense of intensity, there was a lot of emotion around it, either good or bad, right? Because a lot of us pick up, bad beliefs even around good emotions, right? Maybe you grew up with a parent, every time something good happened, they gambled the family's money away, right? So, and then maybe you picked up the belief that, it's time to hit the casino in order to celebrate when something great happens, right? That's a positive emotion, but that's a positive emotion that's tied to like kind of a negative belief. But the last thing you want to think about are beliefs that you have received with regularity. So this is the big one. Not only did your parents, right, the authority figures say money doesn't grow on trees, and not only did they say it with emotion, typically, or intensity, but how often did they say this with regularity? You're receiving this on a regular basis. Money doesn't grow on trees. Stop asking me this. Money doesn't grow on trees. Stop asking this, right? So when we look at this, our beliefs are like air, A-I-R, right? We receive them without even realizing that we are taking them in because these things are being passed on to us from people who have authority. They're saying it with intensity and they're saying it with regularity. But that doesn't just have to go with money or family beliefs. It also has to deal with business beliefs, right? Think about the people that you follow on Instagram. Think about the messages that you receive for a very long time. I know for me, I was constantly receiving messages on Instagram about hustling hard, hustle hard. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll sleep when I die, That's kind of crazy that we say that. They're saying it in a really cool way on their live streams and on their videos. They're saying it with intensity and they're saying it with regularity, and their followers are repeating it. And so I'm seeing this message all over the place. And so I didn't realize that I had adopted the belief, or I had adopted the programming that you have to hustle hard in order to find, success in your business. And so that was something that I had to consciously undo. So I invite you to think about what programming or what beliefs have you been taking in like air, and then how do you go about undoing that? Well, you go about undoing them the same way that you went about getting programmed in the first place, right? And so the way you break programming is by creating new programming. And so this is why I personally decided to kind of come back and start offering coaching again, because for a while I had received the programming that, oh no, I'm a new mom, working with clients is going to be too much work, I'm not going to be able to focus on my family and run a coaching business, I should just focus on selling low ticket products and just trying to sell these things at a high volume. And so it wasn't until I worked with a coach where I was like, no, you can work with coaching clients, and it can be easy, it could be seamless. You just need to learn the way to do that. So you need to get under somebody who has authority in your life, right? Obviously, I think working with a coach is the best way to do this, but this is why I always say, make sure that you find a coach who is doing what you want to do in the way that you want to do it, because you're not just accepting or adopting their tactics, you're adopting their beliefs. You're not just accepting their process, you're accepting their programming as well. And so if you're working with a coach who believes that you have to hustle hard in order to be successful, or it takes a lot of work and a lot of time in order to create a lot of money in your business, then you will be operating, under that frame of mind as well. And start to think about how they think. Like, It's not just what they do, but how are they thinking? Like, what kind of person are they being that allows them to do the things that then allows them to have the things that you ultimately want as well. Also, you want to think about intensity, right? So working with a coach is a really great instance for this. And this is why if you find the right person, investing in your business via a coach can be great, because there's that intensity of the coach really working and specifically giving you information, right? So I actually think that coaching has an advantage over courses in this instance, because a coach can turn up the intensity on a specific belief or mindset that they're trying to help you adopt simply by sending you a message, right? I know I chirp my clients all day, and a lot of the things that we talk about, there's some tactical stuff or strategies or, do this in your business, create your landing pages like this, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the work that we do is just mindset work. And so it's just me coming with that, intense emotion, breaking things down in a way that they can understand so that they can receive it, and showing them how they need to be thinking in order to achieve the results ultimately that they want to have. And so lastly, then there's that regularity, right? So you want to make sure that you are curating what you consume according to the goals ultimately that you want to have. So whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, because that's the thing now, podcasts that you're listening to, shows that you watch on TV, right? There are shows that I don't watch on TV because I don't want to curate, that type of information. I don't want to be programmed by that. I'm being mindful of my programming because I'm concerned about what I'm consuming on a regular basis. And so you want to do the same thing too. The TV shows that you're watching, the people that you're following, the podcasts that you're listening to, the books that you are reading. However, people who invest in their business by way of coaching have an advantage in this regard because that regularity is already taken care of. A lot of the women that I'm working with, they want 200K plus in their business, right? They want to hit the multi-six-figure level. But I know that that requires a certain type of thinking. And that's not something that I can just impart in you just one time or even via a course. Like, I can share my process via a course, but I can't share programming via a course. That requires a 12-month process at least. If you're interested in my 12-month coaching program, if you've got a business and you're doing some things, you think you're pretty talented, you've worked with some clients, but you're like, I'm really trying to scale this to 200K and above. I have just a handful of spots left. You can apply at CourtneyLSanders.com/apply. See if it's a good fit. Hopefully you won't be scared to make investments in your business. I know a lot of people worry about making the right decision. Is this the right decision for me? Should I do it? But I think that we should flip that question on its head and say, have you worked to install beliefs? Have you worked to become the kind of person who is not so stressed on making the right decision, but who knows that whatever decision they make, they can make that decision right? That's personal power. If it's like, hey, I know that this coaching program is going to work out, or I know this course is going to work out, or whatever, because I'm the kind of person who makes the decisions I make right. I'm willing to do the work, and I'm willing to change my perspective to make it so that I can get the result, no matter what. But with that, happy investing in your business. Talk to you all later. Bye.